Hey guys, Mrs. Talbot here in my home studio. You ready to make some art? Because I am. Before we get started with our art project, I do have a story to share with you, and it's one of my favorites. This is Where the Wild Things Are by Maurice Sendak. I wonder what we could be making today. Where the Wild Things Are by Maurice Sendak. The night Max wore his wolf suit and made mischief of one kind and another, his mother called him Wild Thing, and Max said, "I'll eat you up." So he was sent to bed without eating anything. That very night in Max's room, a forest grew and grew and grew until his ceiling hung with vines and the walls became the world all around. An ocean tumbled by with a private boat for Max, and he sailed off through night and day and in and out of weeks and almost over a year to where the wild things are. And when he came to the place where the wild things are, they roared their terrible roars and gnashed their terrible teeth and rolled their terrible eyes and showed their terrible claws. Till Max said, "Be still," and tamed them with the magic trick of staring into all their yellow eyes without blinking once. And they were frightened and called him the most wild thing of all, and made him king of all wild things. And now, cried Max, let the wild rumpus start. Now stop, Max said, and sent the wild things off to bed without their supper. And Max, the king of all wild things, was lonely and wanted to be where someone loved him best of all. Then, all around, from far away across the world, he smelled good things to eat. So he gave up being king of where the wild things are. But the wild things cried, "Oh, please don't go. We'll eat you up, we love you so." And Max said, "No." The wild things roared their terrible roars and gnashed their terrible teeth and rolled their terrible eyes and showed their terrible claws. But Max stepped into his private boat and waved goodbye. He sailed back over a year and in and out of weeks and through a day into the night of his very own room, where he found his supper waiting for him. And it was still hot. If you guessed that we're going to draw some monsters and crazy creatures, then you guessed correctly. Here's what you're going to need. You'll need a piece of paper, a pencil, a pen, crayon, something to draw with, something you can make a line with. Doesn't really matter what. And a piece of string. It could be yarn, it could be twine, it could be a shoelace, just a piece of string. All right, let's get started. All right, so I found my piece of paper. I found a black Crayola colored pencil. That's just what I happen to have laying around. You can use anything. And I had some embroidery floss left over from making some friendship bracelets last year. But like I said, you could use a shoelace, a piece of yarn, a piece of twine. Some people have even used like a charging cable for a phone or something. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna use this string to make an organic shape. Now, organic shapes are a little bit different than geometric shapes like squares and circles and triangles. Organic shapes have kind of wavy and irregular sides. Think about the way that leaves and things in nature are shaped. Organic shapes are natural shapes. So that's what we're going to create with this. All right, let's blow a little bit of magic into it. What do you think? Did you blow magic into yours? Come on, fifth graders, blow some magic into it. All right, we'll take our string. Okay, we dropped it on the paper. So now you're gonna take your pencil, and careful not to touch the string. We're gonna give it a little bit of distance, and we're gonna trace around it. You can't press right up against your string because then it'll move, and we don't want that to happen. Not until we finish our shape. Now, obviously yours is going to be a little bit different. It just depends how the string hits the paper. Huh. Curious. I wonder what this could be. You know, I think I see a head over here, so I'm going to give him some crazy eyes. Give him a mouth. And I think that could be a tail. Give him some arms. He kind of reminds me of like a weird cat, maybe? Cat monster? Well, that one's interesting. Let's try again on the back. And we're going to pick which one we like the best. Blow a little magic into it. Now remember, you can't have your pencil or pen touch it because it'll move. I'm going to keep our shape here. Interesting. I wonder what that could be. I think... Ooh, he looks surprised. I think I've made a bat monster. Do I like this guy or this one? I think I'm really digging my bat monster. So once you get a monster that you really like, think about where he would live. Does he live in the desert with cactus and tumbleweed and sand everywhere? Does he live under the ocean with seaweed and starfish? Or does he live in a cave or a forest? I think I'm going to have mine flying out of a cave. So behind him, we're going to add a little bit of a background. I want my cave to look 3D, so I did the arch of my cave. And there, I got a nice door. And of course, you can choose where you want your crazy monster to live. He's flying out of that cave. Do you think maybe there's some trees out here? There's some tree trunks. Maybe you want to draw trees too. I make like a Y shape there. Gosh, and there you have it. You can get as detailed as you want to get. I'm going to do another tree back here. Now, all you needed was this one pencil or pen that you're using. If you're lucky enough to have some other colors and art materials at home, I'd go ahead and color this bad boy if I were you. Hey, would you like to see some different background ideas for your monster? I bet you would. Let's see what we can come up with. All right, so my monster lived in like a cave that's coming into a forest. Here's some other ideas. So we kind of talked about a desert. If you wanted to do a desert, you could do some flat land or even some sandy dune hills. I'm going to do some kind of plateaus back here. And your cactus, you can draw the middle part of the cactus and then give them some arms, saguaro cacti here. If you're in 5th grade, we drew a lot of different cactus. I'm gonna start back here. I'm gonna just draw a little road here, just for fun. Kind of looks like it's going off into the distance. And here's a tumbleweed. Or we could do an ocean scene for our monster to live in. So here's the top of the water. And here's the sand underneath. And I've got a little trick for drawing seaweed. I draw a nice wavy line, and then I start at the tip and I come back down. Kind of makes it look like the seaweed is kind of swaying in the current. And a little starfish. Down there, so then you got some room to put a monster in there. What are some other places that our monster could live? We could do the beach. I'm gonna draw kind of a coconut tree here. My leaves kind of look like, my fronds kind of look like bat wings. So maybe your monster lives here on the beach, or maybe, ooh, an island. That would be cool. Or maybe your monster lives in the forest. And we kind of showed you how to do those broccoli top trees. But you could also do some trees kind of like Christmas trees. Some nice pines, spruce. You could do some trees like that. Your monster could live in that kind of forest. You could even do a snowy Arctic scene. What would that look like? Snow blowing through. You could even have your monster build a snowman. How silly would that be? You decide where your monster lives. Well, I hope you were able to sail off like Max and have adventures with your monster in your created land. I'd love to see what you made. Email it my way.